Well, hello, my friends. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Let's chat. All right, I think that's a little too beautiful. All right, so I'm sure you're very aware of what's going on in the world today. So I wanted to talk about some ways that people have prepared in the past so that we can be prepared in the present and anything that may happen in the future. Okay, so first of all, it is never too late to prep, and I really hate it when people say this, like, oh, if you're starting to prep now, it's too late. No, it's not. Stop it. This is ridiculous. You could go to the store right now and get at least 30 days worth of supply of food, water, anything like that. You can go online, order some freeze-dried food. Okay, this is absolute garbage that people are saying you can't be prepared right now. Okay. Even taking the slow and steady route, you can still be prepared. So including the basics, like, canned foods like you see behind me, and then bottles of water and rainwater collection, all that stuff. You do want to focus on fuel as well. Fuel can be really scarce, especially with what's happening right now. Okay. Now, I'm not saying go out and stockpile, 55-gallon drums of fuel, but go ahead and get like a few extra gas tanks. But understand what you're using the fuel for. Is it for your vehicle? Is it for your, mower? Like, what is it? What are you going to be using the fuel for? Is it for a generator? What? So figure out what the fuel is going to be used for, and then you can fill a 55-gallon drum. There's really nothing wrong with that. There's no rationing right now, but you're just going to pay for it. It's going to be a little expensive, right? So keep in mind, you will need that fuel stabilizer, and that will only keep the gas good for maybe about a year, okay? So even with the fuel stabilizer. So you definitely want to keep that in mind. The sun is really hot. So things that you're going to want to do, again, stockpile. That's number one. Number two is start a garden. Start a victory garden. Survival Garden Seeds actually has a whole Facebook group about victory gardens and encouraging people to have victory gardens. My garden got started a little late this year, but I am getting started on it for the fall. I got these raised beds that you're seeing here for free. Well, my husband found them. So I am really excited to get started for that and get my fall garden going in a couple months. But victory gardens are huge, and then learning how to can. Now, if you don't have space for your own victory garden, you can, of course, grow things on your balcony, in containers, whatever. All I want you to do is grow. You can also consider growing hydroponics. I've done this. A lot of people are just like, oh, you can't do that because of the nutrients. We'll stock up with the nutrients a little bit. If you don't want to do hydroponics, then you could just grow indoors. And essentially, you're just having little pots here with like one or two plants in them. And then you could also have microgreens and sprouts. Anyway, my point is grow, and then from that food, you are learning to can your own food as well. So this way we're having like a consistent supply. We have our stockpile and we have our canned goods and stuff like that, right? So then people learn to patch up their own clothes, use old clothes, thrift, right? People also made their own clothes. They sewed so much, right? And you're probably wondering, well, where do I get the fabric? Well, you could actually start stocking up on fabric now. Like, just go get like some fabric pieces every once in a while. Joann Fabric's actually just been out of business, but you can still go to like Hobby Lobby, Walmart, online. I think online is a little expensive, but that's my opinion. So community and civil defense, this is really important for your own personal safety, your community safety, all these kinds of things. This cannot be overlooked. Neighborhood solidarity, these communities actually would pool resources. They would have scrap drives for metals and fats, and they would have it for wood and things like that. They would do they would help each other sew things. They would have like canning groups. They would have collective childcare, communal kitchens, stuff like that. So like in times of war, the community, the neighborhood really came together. Okay, this is why I keep talking over and over and over again about getting together, getting to know your neighbors, knowing your community, these kinds of things, okay? And just a simple hello is really all that you need. So when we're talking about all these basics of preparedness, starting your garden, having your stockpile, having your defense, getting the gas, all this stuff, very few people actually talk about the mental health and morale of it. It's going to be very, very tough. Okay. If we were to go into some sort of, World War III situation, it's going to be mentally and morally tough on us. Psychological stress, a lot of people will suffer PTSD. They will have anxiety, emotional numbing, things like that. Even if you're not directly involved in it, there's going to be just a lot of news that's going to run rampant of what is going on. Whatever might be going on, you are going to be aware of it, and it's going to be really, really hard. So, it's going to be hard for everybody, just because there would be rationing, there would be a higher military force, there would be a lot of things going on that would disrupt your everyday life. Coping tactics would be things like they bonded with their neighbors, and they wrote in diaries, and they sang in community events, and they found meaning in contributions, contributing, with gardens and, barter and trading. And there was mutual support. Your family and friends and neighbors will come together. And of course, there's always going to be, those bad eggs, right? The people that are going to try to loot or steal or take things from you. But this, especially then, is when community really comes together. I mean, if you read any apocalyptic book, it's very rarely a lone wolf survival situation. We're all in a community helping each other. A couple other things to keep in mind would be trying to get more independent from the grid, trying to have at least some solar battery banks, solar panels, things like that. I would foresee that electricity may or may not be stable, right? So you could have a generator that has fuel and stuff like that, but that's still not really being kind of off the grid, right? Having some sort of a battery operated generator that uses solar, the battery backup generators that use solar. So I call them solar generators. A lot of people get really mad at me when I do that, except they run on solar. So I call them solar generators, but they are battery backups. Anyway, having those, and then having the solar panels to continually charge those, you are a little bit more independent. Okay. I think the name of the game here is being independent in the sense of you're not relying on the government or sources, where food and clothing and things come from, because those could be unreliable. Those could be, expensive. They could be rationed. They could be out of reach. But you're looking to your community. You're looking to those community farms. You're looking to your neighbors. You're looking also, of course, to yourself and your own skills, and building those skills and building your stockpile and building these things and building that resilience. I have a checklist down below to where you can go download for yourself to just see kind of where you are and what you need to be doing to stay better prepared for this type of scenario. Thank you all so much for watching. Conquer Tomorrow by Preparing Today. I'll talk to you later. Bye.